people. I have to inject this.
Yes.
He was drafted. He didn't have to campaign, and he didn't have to have multi-million-dollar campaigns and lobbyists behind him and stuff, because the people went and got him. He was a parish priest who had been serving the people and resisting the Duvalier tyranny for a long time, and he was very brave in the face of all kinds of danger at bucking the system, and his life was in danger, threatened several times, and the people just love him, and they're still demanding his return. He won the first election that they drafted him to in
1990. Right,
in
the
90,
elections
right,
of 1990.
it was actually 1990, by 67% of the vote, which is almost unheard of. And the second election, he didn't even lift a finger. He was criticized for not campaigning, and he came up with 90% of the vote. Okay,
precisely.
So this is real democracy in Haiti, and the U.S. just couldn't tolerate such a phenomenon happening so close to its shores, because Haiti is only 700 miles from the shores of Florida.
Precisely. And thank you very much, caller, for the compliment. But actually, I want to give the compliment to our brothers and sisters in Haiti, because they are the ones who they were warned of the massacres, because they had lived through the first massacres before, and their families, they had lived under the Papa Doc and the Baby Doc tyranny, so they knew
backed
what
up
dangers,
by the US.
backed up by the US, France and Canada.
Oh, yeah.
And they knew the dangers, but yet they were killed during the first coup d'etat. They went again, and they were warned that there would be a bloodbath. They were warned, but still they stood up, and then after the coup d'etat, they continued standing up. First confronting the U.S. Marines,
right,
and then the troops of France, Canada, and others, and then the UN troops that were sent. They continued to confront them, and many were killed, many were massacred.
I know.
And
I know. They're under Cedras, somewhat 5,000 to 10,000.
Precisely.
Were killed.
But recently, under the UN troops, for example, you mentioned our great leader, Father Jean-Just, during his funeral, which took place the end of June or mid-June. Actually, the UN forces opened fire on the mourners, people who were mourning.
Yeah, and one young man was killed.
Precisely.
Unbelievable.
And just last week, UN forces opened fire again in the town of Las Caobas, killing 2 people who were, according to reports I've read, 2 people were killed. And what was their crime? They were protesting the fact that their town, which had electricity, the electricity was taken away from them. So they were protesting. And the UN forces fired on the crowd.
I want to
again.
fast forward very quickly
Yes.
to the incident, because I would love to end on this note, and we only have about 2-3 minutes left. And I want you to talk about Operation Closed Door.
Yes, Operation Closed Door, very quickly, is our people have been fighting from the days of independence. First, we conquered our independence. Then the next struggle is the struggle for economic democracy, economic equality.
Right.
And it's been a continued struggle to the present day. So the Lavalas movement, which represents the majority of the people, now we have former President Clinton representing the UN, and they are consolidating the coup d'etat of 2004. And that's the role of former President Bill Clinton, to make sure Aristide doesn't come back to Haiti, or that the Lavalas movement is excluded from the elections. So what the people did, there were senatorial elections, and the forces there excluded from Lavalas, and the people said, okay, no elections without us. So everybody stayed home. And even though a lot of money was put out there and everything, and people...
Talk about how they were dancing in the streets.
Yes, there were parties the day before the elections, and people attended, people ate the food. There was food, candidates were putting out food, and what have you.
Haitians love to dance.
Oh, of course. I mean, you got to dance. And so, and people stayed home. So the boycott was successful, 97%. So only 3% turned out to vote.
I know.
And,
talk about how the reporters were running around and they had empty ballot boxes.
Empty ballot boxes, and people can go on our website. There are 2 of them: www.haitiaction.net and www.haitisolidarity.net, and you can see the actual footage of these elections and how the ballot boxes are transparent. You can see through them, and you'll see in places that are Well, you have 30,000 people who would be at those who would be voting normally. You'd see only 5 ballots in the box by the end of the day.
Little white pieces of paper.
Yes.
Right.
And even some of the poll workers
were sleeping.
There was nothing for them to do. Nobody came to vote.
I know.
So people are finding every opportunity to demonstrate.
Operation Closed Door. I loved it.
Operation Closed Door. And it was repeated twice for the first round of the senatorial elections, and then for the second round of the senatorial elections, which is crazy. Right. How are you going to have a second round when only 2%, 3% of the people show up to vote?
I thank you so much, Pierre Labossiere. I want to thank Stephen Leader for board opping, and I want to thank you viewers for joining us on Freedom is a Constant Struggle. For SF Live, I'm Kilu Nyasha, and all power to the people, free all political prisoners. Good evening.